la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so nice to feel the Ruach, to feel the energy in this sacred space, in this chapel, as we're all getting ready to bring in Shabbat. And there is a lot of energy tonight. Is there something exciting that's happening tomorrow morning? One of the exciting things that is causing all this energy is the bat mitzvah tomorrow morning of Peyton. But there's so many different reasons that we're here tonight to celebrate Shabbat together. Some of us have had a challenging week. Some of us have had an exciting week. Some of us just might have had a week. But here we are for the next hour or so to experience Shabbat together. And one of the ways that we can do that is through song. And how blessed we are tonight to be joined by Dan Nichols, who is going to really help us to bring in Shabbat with even more ruach, with even more song, with even more singing. So let's really bring Shabbat in now together, all of our voices together, whether you've heard this nigun many, many times or whether it's brand new to you. Close your eyes, let the music fill you, and then let the music fill this space. Here we go. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya ya ya, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya ya, ya la la. Just our voices. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ay ay ay. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. I'm Andy Olaf, and as a member of the PTS Board of Trustees, it's my honor to welcome all of you this evening for our Kabbalat Shabbat services. Tonight's service will be led by Rabbi Dan Feder, Cantor Yonah Klieger, Charles Calhoun, and I'm excited to introduce Dan Nichols, fresh off the plane from North Carolina. He'll be part of our PTS festivities this weekend, and a heartfelt thank you to the Fisher family for sponsoring our artist in residence. Thank you. Dan is a prolific Jewish singer-songwriter who makes the rounds at all Reformed Jewish camps in North America and is beloved by children and adults alike. Again, I'd like to offer a big welcome and mazel tov to the Fisher family and their friends who have come in from out of town for this very special milestone as Peyton becomes the bat mitzvah. So, whether you're here in our beautiful chapel or tuning in online, we hope you participate fully and enjoy. And we are so glad you're all here. Thank you,
Indeed, Yasher Koach. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbos.
So welcome to Shabbat. Let's bring in the Sabbath with the bracha that we say as we transition from the other 6 days to the Sabbath day. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies the Sabbath day. Shabbat shalom. Please wish those around you a Shabbat shalom as well.
Thank you, man. This is yummy.
Shabbat shalom. Cork, Shabbat shalom. On page 10 of our Sidurim, we'll find Ma Yafeh Hayom, how beautiful is this day. And it truly is. And all of our services feature prominent singing, but music is really, in particular, at the heart tonight. Hello, Silk family. On the day you moved too. Wow. Music is really, really important. Music is spirit. Music speaks to our soul and our heart and our imagination in a way that mere spoken words probably could never do. And a lot in the world is moving really, really fast. And so much of the way we do things is so different. And it's really, really great, including the way we sing, including the way we particularize and modernize and expand the way we see the focus of a prayer. And Dan Nichols is just superb at helping us to do that. And seeing him try out new things that he hasn't quite launched across the country at this wonderful Jewish learning laboratory called URJ Camp Newman is really a special, special thing. And his version of Asher Yatzar, which now seems like such a staple of the way we do our morning prayers, I got to see him experiment with kids in the summer before it went national, and to see it the way it made kids feel heard and seen is really remarkable and wonderful. So Maya Fe Hayom, Dan and Cantor and Charles, take us there.
Let's sing together. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Let's do that part again. Together. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom. Maya Fe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Friends, page 9. Please read out loud with me. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessings, O God. We're going to turn to page 12 and sing Lechu Ramana.
We're going to continue now with Shalom Aleichem as we greet all of the angels among us. We're on page 24. And if you're wondering how we can find those angels, where are those angels? Well, one way is to just look at the faces of those who are here tonight, those who are watching from home. Those are all the angels among us. Shalom Aleichem 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Sharei, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Borachem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Sharei, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidken Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Shalei, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yalala, 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 Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Shalei, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Beautiful. So, Cantor Klieger,
Yes, Rabbi.
let's just say hypothetically we're planning a Shabbat service.
Okay,
Okay.
let's imagine.
And let's say I come up with an idea.
A brilliant one.
I think it's a brilliant idea. You, not so much.
Oh. That is...
No, you don't think it's a brilliant idea.
Okay.
You see some problems with it.
All right.
So, what we now know about conversations and dialogue in 2023, what you may say, Dan, that's an interesting idea, ... What's the next word that comes out of your mouth?
And
And. BDU. Not but, right? Like he could say, that's a really interesting idea, but it's bad, right? You say, that's a really interesting idea.
And I have another suggestion.
And I wonder about,
first rule of improv, by the way.
Exactly, that's right. That's right. The folk songs are going to Chicago and Second City, first rule, right? And. So that relates to the way we worship. How so, you might add? I think the gift of Shabbat to all of us is the eternal divine and. Like the cantor said at the beginning of the services, some of us have had just a week. Some of us have had blessed weeks. Some of us have had really tough weeks. Shabbat doesn't obliterate everything that went on. Shabbat doesn't deny the realities that are in your heart and in your head, which may feel heavy right now. Shabbat, when we can do it fully, beautifully, and really do it with the Spirit, like we're already on our way tonight, it, without even trying to, makes us forget for a few moments about some of those heavier things. And then when they pop back into our head 5, 10, 15, 30, 60 minutes later, it's the eternal divine and. we have space for both feelings. And I think that's such an important thing in life. And that's our weekly gift with Shabbat, that we get to, through our Shabbat, joy, fun, amusement, beauty, we get to make space for the whole experience. So in that spirit, we're going to turn back at our Siddur to pages 20 and 21 and sing Lacha Dodi and continue making space for that eternal end.
One, two, okay. Lecha dodi,
לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, והשמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת וליצירה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונחת, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. Verse 5, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורף וביורי, וריעוי שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלי נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. We rise now and we face towards the entrance. Verse 9. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה בשבת נקבלה. You may be seated. So we've brought light, we're about to bring light into the space. We've brought song into our space. We've brought Shabbat energy into the space. And now we're going to bring light into the space. And so it is my honor to welcome forward the immediate Fisher family. So Jenna and Colin and Morgan and Peyton, please come forward to help us light the Shabbat candles. You can find that on page 2. And then from there, we will go straight into Kiddush, the blessing over the grape juice, on page 5. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la.
la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, וציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. יאללה לה לה לה, 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 יאללה לה לה.
The Shabbat evening Kiddush is on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים ולשלום. לחיים.
Save some. Beautiful. Yasher Koach. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And Peyton will call you back up in a little bit.
Page 26. Let's try an experiment. What happens if I sing Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rava?
Amen. It worked.
It worked. And the prayer, and oh, it's going to happen. Oh, this is so good for me. I just love this. The idea here, this is not in Hebrew. This prayer that we're about to enjoy or explore. It's in Aramaic, actually. The ancient rabbis, way back in the day, wanted to make sure that everybody knew what we were saying. Because back then, Aramaic was the vernacular, was the language of the people. Hebrew was a language for people who could afford to go to school and be taught Hebrew. Not everybody spoke Hebrew, but at the time, everybody spoke Aramaic. We all knew what we were talking about. And the ancient rabbis wanted to make sure when we got to this part of the service that everybody knew what we were saying. And what's being said here are things like, God, you're amazing. You do amazing things in amazing ways. We're going to try to talk about and express to you how we recognize how incredible all of this is. And we're going to try to do it with our words, our songs, our stories, our blessings. And we can't even come close to coming to explaining and celebrating and honoring all that you've created. And here we go. Well, I don't know about you, but my Aramaic is just not so fresh. And I don't know about you, but often I'm getting services. I do this for a job. I play, and I'm a professional Jew. I go to I'm not kidding. I go to Jewish summer camp for this is my 23rd summer of visiting Jewish summer camps all over North America. This is my 36th summer of being at Jewish summer camp. Jewish summer camp has been every bit a Jewish parent to me as my own mom and dad. And when I get to this prayer, I want to believe I'm not alone, that sometimes I pray this and I might as well just be saying blah, 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 blah.
Amen.
Amen.
And yet, well, okay, that's an opportunity for growth, because I'm really not paying attention in that moment to what we're saying here. And yet the intention when this was built was that everybody know what we're saying. That God, you do amazing things in this world. You've created an incredible place for us to enjoy, and we're going to try to express it, and you're beyond everything we can express, and we're still going to express it anyway. Well, this is the intention for this setting of Chatzi Kaddish that we're going to dive into. It's in English, because maybe that's a vernacular that we use. And so the refrain, I was hoping we could sing together. It comes back many times, and it goes, and let us say, Amen. Over and over, try it. And let us say, Amen. And very predictably at the very end, the last one goes, and let us say, Amen. Celebrated, may your name be consecrated, may your brilliance never fade from the magnificent world you made. May your ways prevail in our own days, in our own lives, and in the life of all Israel. And let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen. May your name receive the same beauty that you bring, though you are far beyond the sweetest songs we could ever sing. And let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen. And let us say, Amen.
Beautiful. Yasher Koach. So special getting to hear the inspiration behind the composition of that prayer. Thank you so much, Dan. We're on page 28 now, and for those who are able, let's rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship.
Yada da da da, yada la la la, yada la la la, yada la la la, yada da da da, yada da da da, yada la la la, yada la la la. Am I awake? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada la la la, yada la la la, yada la la la. יברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד. יאללה לה לה לה, 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 yalla la la la, yalla la la. Just our voices now. Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la la.
Let's read the Ma'ariv Aravim prayer on page 31 together. Please join me. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows.
Adonai Hamariv Aravim.
We're going to be singing Ahavat Olam on page 32 and segueing directly into Shema, pages 34 and 35, and then the Vahavta on page 36. I'd like to invite our bat mitzvah Peyton to join me right back here, and then you can step up, and it's time for Shema.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ata Amcha Ata Torah u'mitzvot Ukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Alkei Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu U'kumeinu nasiat bebukecha V'nismach b'divrei toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu U'vahem nege yomam balayla Nege yomam balayla Be'ahavatcha tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Amen. Page 36. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen. Yasher Koach.
Asher Koach. We look forward to tomorrow. I have a book on a shelf in my study. It's called Leap into Darkness. And it's the amazing, remarkable, daring story of a man named Leo Brettholz of blessed memory, who I got to know in Baltimore, my first congregation as an assistant rabbi. And he wrote a book, and he came to our congregation to speak before he'd even written the book, to share his story. We would invite him around Yom HaShoah. And he was just a young teenager, and he'd already been separated from his whole family when he found himself in a cattle car in a train headed for a concentration camp. And along with one other teenager, they were able to use a rag to pry open the bars of the windows, of the bars in the little square-shaped, tiny, tiny windows, and they leapt off the train. And that's how they saved their lives. And it was an amazing, remarkable story, and I thought, like, maybe that was on page 298 of the book, because everything led up to that. That was actually at the beginning of the book, because his real story began once he leapt out of the train. He hadn't saved his life yet. His journey was just beginning. Similarly, on page 40 at Nichamocha, we're going to hear a really beautiful, beautiful composition again by Dan for the singing of it, where you really feel the sense of opportunity and movement and possibility. But the point is, the Israelites hadn't achieved anything when they crossed the Sea of Reeds. The real story is what happened in the next 40 years before they entered the land of Canaan. And what really mattered then is what they did once they entered the land of Canaan as people in a covenanted relationship with God. And in particular, I bring that up because this week, between Monday and Wednesday night, we had the almost surreal feeling in our Jewish world of, one, a most severe and audacious and distressing step by the Prime Minister of Israel and the Knesset, the parliament. And you may know in Israel, with their system, that's really like one. They're not two branches of the government, like here in the United States. The parliament and the Prime Minister, it's really one. It's one point of view. Made a drastic step towards authoritarianism by curtailing the power of the judiciary, the Supreme Court, to cite the unreasonableness cause to halt appointments and legislation passed by the parliament. And there was a really telling moment when the prime minister, in an interview, said, well, now that we've done this, now we really can work towards compromise, which is hopeful but really makes no sense. And then there was a moment later in the day where he sat stone-faced to one of his ministers, very much to the far right, who was asked by a reporter about compromise, and the minister tellingly say, compromise? Why would we compromise? This is just the start. Truly a chilling and appalling state for those of us who love Israel and care about its democratic principles. But Wednesday night, when we commemorated Tisha B'Av as a community, the 4 synagogues together in Redwood City, we were reminded of the juxtaposition of memory and hope. Memory and hope. And that possibility lives with remembering your past and holding out a vision for the future. For Leo Brettholz, for the children of Israel, it's really okay. Don't worry about that beautiful noise. It was all about what happened after that seemingly important moment. And for those of us who care about Israel, what matters now is what happens after this first important movement. And I hold out to a sense of history and a sense of hope. In that spirit, Mi Chamocha.
Page 40. Mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Nora tehilo, oseh peleh. Nora tehilo, oseh. Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'anu, Ze'eli anu ve'anu, Adonai, Ilok le'olamai. Mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. A different type of prayer, not in your prayer book. Author for this is unknown, according to the internet. Eternal One, help us remember that the jerk who cut us off in traffic last night is a single mother who worked 9 hours that day and was rushing home to cook dinner, help with the homework, do the laundry, and spend a few precious moments with her children. Help us to remember that the pierced, tattooed, disinterested young man who can't make change correctly is a worried 19-year-old college student, balancing his apprehension over final exams with his fear of not getting his student loans next semester. Remind us that the scary-looking bum begging for money in the same spot every day who really ought to get a job is a slave to addictions that we can only imagine in our worst nightmares. Help us to remember that the old couple walking annoyingly slow through the store aisles, blocking our shopping progress, are savoring this moment, knowing that based on the biopsy report she got back last week, this will be the last year they go shopping together. Eternal One, remind us each day that of all the gifts you give us, the greatest gift is love. It is not enough to share that love with those we hold dear. Open our hearts, not just to those who are close to us, but to all humanity. Let us be slow to judgment, quick to forgiveness, and patience, and empathy, and love.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'amidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu
We're going to continue with the Amidah. And it's going to begin with a very special form of a Kavanah leading into the Avot Ve'imahot. So once again, turn to you, Dan, and take us into this part of the service.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Page 45, the words are here. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Please rise wherever you're able on page 46.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממין ומחייב ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Now, Lashevet, we can all be seated, and we're going to continue now with silent prayer from pages 53 through page 62. And after silent prayer, we'll sing Elohai Netzor with Dan on the top of page 62.
Netzor Lishoni Mera Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Oh my God, watch over me. Take the hurt away from how I speak. Only love flows from you. May every word I speak be true. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. When words are thrown, I'll hold my tongue and breathe the air of songs I've sung. That refrain I'll repeat. There's more to you than only me. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Elohai Netzor Lishoni Mera. Usfatai midaber, midaber hilma. Linka lelai nafshi tidom, v'nafshi kefar lakol tiyeh. Hai na na, hai na na na. Hai na na, hai na na na. Hai na na, hai na na na. Hai na na, hai na na na.
Is a yofi. I don't think I'd ever heard that before. That was just beautiful.
Thank you.
The Misha Berach is on page 253. And we're saying the prayer tonight for Itzhak Magal, Gaby Korn, Rabbi Maury Hirschman, Suzanne Ike, Steve Castle, Vadim Zilberleib, Leah Bat Hirsch, Jerry Fanberg, Farhad Eli, Roger Wiener, the Reverend Christy Denham, Kevin Fisher Paulson, Maxine Walsleben, Jack Pitchon, Sylvia Phillips, Marty Martinez, Dwight Oxford, Gina Sadiq, Jennifer Lack, Theo Kramer, Atticus Pearson, Claudia LaChance, Frida Klieger, Paul Raffer, Marion Klieger, Peter Powell, Naomi Spitzer, Willie Herring, Dorothy Creeks, and Esther Dover. And when we say this prayer, when we sing this prayer, it's one of those prayers, I hope we pray it, everything with intention, but I think in particular we pray this one with intention. And I don't think we're operating on the notion that there are magic powers to this prayer, that it changes scientific or medical realities. And I'm thinking about that tonight because this is the first time in 14 months that you won't hear me or my wife say the name Rebecca Binder, who took her last breath this morning. And it's not that I think this prayer didn't work. On the opposite. She was able to live longer than I think was reasonably expected for her to live with this kind of cancer, in part because she knew that people around the country were praying for her with intention and soul. And so, whatever your view of prayer, I offer this prayer for you because there are, throughout our days, always times in our life where we either want to pray for somebody else, or maybe even for ourselves, or we're asking other people to pray for us. There's not magical power in this prayer, but I do believe there is spiritual and mystical power in this prayer. So if there's a name that you would like to add to our healing list, we'll pass the mic to you.
My father, Ed Schneider.
My friend Stefanos Tiziano.
My mom, Rebecca Frazier, my stepdad, Marcel Frazier, my brother-in-law, Paul Levine, and my friend, Jennifer Sharp.
My friends Jody Cusson and Johanna Wisner.
My friend Glenn Rosendale.
My niece, Mackenzie Otis.
My granddaughter, Mackenzie Otis.
Our good friend Marty Rosenberg, who was involved in a very serious bike accident yesterday and had multiple surgeries last night. But in speaking with Ellie today, he was able to go home, but it's going to be a long time recovery. We pray for him.
Linda Attell, in honor of Gary Attell, my loving wife of 59 years, passed away.
A dear friend's 8-year-old grandson, Asa Luo, who was involved in a drive-by shooting in Oakland last week and is in serious condition in Oakland.
My dear friend Suzanne Engelberg, who has pancreatic cancer. She's in a lot of pain, so pray for her.
Ellen Ezrin, who's recovering from hip surgery.
My dear friend Devin Brightheart and my colleague Felix Bang.
Holding all of those souls in our hearts, we pray for their wellness and we sing together.
I also just want to add the name Bina Bat Chana and Chana Bat Frida, my cousin and my aunt. We sing together. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body
Peyton, I got a little bat mitzvah present for you. In preparing for this weekend, I was looking over the Torah portion, and this is my bar mitzvah Torah portion. And I think that's really yummy. And this is a gift for you, and I hope that it's a gift for all of us, that we can see through you as you take this step to honor your history, your people, and hopefully honor yourself and what you're learning and discovering. All of the learning, all of the faith, and especially to embrace all of the doubt, all the questions that I hope come along with you being you and being a Jewish person. I love that Yisrael, one of the words we used to refer to our people, is a future tense phrase that means one who will struggle with God. When I learned that, I just felt like a giant open door came and said, sweetie, come right on over. We got room for you. All of your faith, all of your doubt, all of your questions, and all of your surety. And I pray for you as you enter tomorrow with all the work that you've done, that if you hit those moments of, oh, I'm not really sure what's happening right now, I'm not sure if I believe this, I hope that you know that that's okay, that the Jewish people is built for that kind of engagement. And as we get to watch you, witness you, take this step, it's an opportunity for each one of us to reflect on our own relationship with being a Jew, and with faith and doubt, prayer, all of it. And you're a blessing for us. This is a song by Brendan James that I'm dedicating to you, and it's called None of Them Are You. Black, blue, yellow, white, red stripes, scarred and bruised. Old, young, weak, strong, overconfident, confused. He can run, she can jump, they can sing higher than you. Make you hurt, make you cry, make you forget the truth. You're never gonna get it for yourself if you keep your eyes on someone else. Nobody started from the place that you started from. Nobody hopes to go where you're hoping to go, and nobody out there wants the life you do, 'cause none of them are you. None of them are you. Look around in the crowd, wish you could have some fun. Look at them, how they win, how they beat everyone. Blue skies in your eyes under the brightest sun. Still you hurt, still you cry, still you're the lonely one. Nobody started from the place that you started from. Nobody hopes to go where you're hoping to go, and nobody out there wants the life you do, 'cause none of them are you. None of them are you. The day will come, the years will pass, the way you feel it never lasts. You're treading water now, and everybody else is swimming past. You walk a line that no one else could ever find. A billion lines are crossing at a time. Oh, 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 oh. Nobody started from the place that you started from. Nobody hopes to go. And nobody out there wants the life you do. 'Cause none of them are you. None of them are you. None of them are you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
My mom and dad, our whole family converted to Judaism when I was 7. It's a long story. We can talk about the oneg if you want. But I will tell you this. I remember not being Jewish, and then we were. And that was wild, because a year and a half later, they were sending me to a Jewish summer camp in Indiana called Goldman Union Camp Institute. It's one of our union camps, like Newman, Camp Newman here, that serves so many folks in the Reform movement here on the West Coast. Well, in the Midwest, Goldman Union Camp is a camp that serves lots of folks. And I say that to you because I just so clearly remember not being Jewish, and then we were, and then I was at summer camp. And Jewish summer camp has been every bit a Jewish parent to me as my own mom and dad, and they would tell you that if they were here. They have told me that that's real for them, and they're so grateful for that. And I mention that because also I learned to play guitar at camp. I learned to be a counselor at camp, and I was talking with Cantor Yona about this earlier. I learned to be the parent that I want to be by being a counselor at camp, starting to have some of the frontal lobes start to activate. If I do this, this might happen. And learning how to apply that as a parent. Learning how to celebrate Jewish life. I learned that at camp. I had my bar mitzvah at camp when I was 17, because when I was your age, Mom said, now's about the time when Jewish kids have their bar mitzvah. I want it to matter to you. Is that something you want to do right now? And I said, not really. And she said, okay, well, when you're ready, we'll do that. And I was 17 and I was at camp, and now Rabbi Sanford Kopnick was a program director at this camp, and he was my boss. I was a counselor, and he said, hey, did you ever have your bar mitzvah? And I said, no. And he said, well, do you want to have it this summer? I could be your tutor. And he was, and I did. And I'm with you tonight because of Jewish summer camp, living through our kids and doing this. Now, while my results are not necessarily typical, I can tell you honestly, and this is my 23rd year of visiting summer camps all over North America, this is what happens for our kids in terms of building a relationship with joy for Jewish practice, joy for Jewish learning, joy for Jewish community, for Jewish singing, for Jewish identity. And I can't help but be with you tonight and think about that, and I wanted to tell you that story. And I'm deeply grateful. A few years ago, I was at a synagogue. It was a Friday night, like similar to this, and there was lots going on in the service. And the rabbi said in his study before we began the service, he said, listen, we got a lot going on tonight. We've got announcements. We've got a 50th wedding anniversary. We've got consecration. And oh, by the way, Dan, we have you. So there's going to be a lot going on, and this is my memory, the rabbi said, if we run out of time, if the service is too long, we'll just cut Aleinu. And I didn't think before I spoke, I just blurted out, wait, you can do that? And he, without missing a beat, he said, yeah, not a problem, no one will ever know. Just gave it away like that. He said, what matters to everybody is Misha Berach. That matters. That moment matters. And after that, what matters is Kaddish Yatom. We need to be able to remember our beloved dead and say the Kaddish Yatom and honoring God's name as the creator of all this amazing world that we get to enjoy, that you can't even say thanks well enough, but we're going to do it anyway. That's important. Aleinu, not so much. Okay. I was like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Well, in fact, the service did go long, whatever that means. And we did cut Aleinu. And I did go to the Oneg. I did drink the decaf coffee. I did eat the lemon bar, and I talked to people, and nobody said anything about Aleinu. And it began a conversation within myself and my dear friend Cantor Ellen Dreskin about what's going on with Aleinu. What is it? Why is it just a stop along the way? Why isn't it a moment for what's going on? And she suggested maybe it has. Well, some Jews have a problem with some of the chosenness language that's in there. There's a line in there that says, "Who chose us among all the other people on the planet, on Earth." And maybe some Jews have a hard time with this. Chosen is implying chosen as better. She suggested that possibly this chosenness thing could be a concept. You could consider it this way: God is parent, all the people on the planet as God's children, and God chooses various tasks for various children. For example, she said, I choose you to clean the bathrooms today. I choose you to vacuum the rugs today. I choose you to do the dishes. Maybe that's the kind of chosenness that we could think about when we approach this idea of chosen. That's not better than, but for a specific thing. So that was interesting. But ultimately, you think about where we started with our service, however long it's felt, whether it's felt like 15 minutes or 5 hours ago. When we started the service, our Baruch Hu, our call to worship at the very beginning of the service, is a call to worship, a call to prayer. And now we're wrapping up our service. We're coming to the end. And Aleinu L'Shabeach is a call of another sort altogether. It's a call to action, that we go out of here and we go into the world, and God willing, we want to make the world a better place and partner with the Holy One in perfecting this beautiful creation that God made. And Aleinu L'Shabeach quite literally means it's on us. And in that, she and I spent a couple of days together and wrote an English adaptation of Aleinu L'Shabeach that I would like to sing for you. And my prayer is that as we get ready to, thank you, Billy, as we get ready to actually pray together as a whole community, Aleinu, as you rise for it, I'm interested, I invite you to consider what you are called, what action are you called to in this, and what are you chosen for as you head out into this great, big, interesting world. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were freed to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu L'Shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. That was beautiful. We have two more special guests that I want to present to us tonight, and I believe one is Roberta Friedberg's daughter. Karen Peterson, are you not Roberta's daughter? I thought you looked very familiar. So Karen is the WRJ Women of Reformed Judaism District Area VP, and with her tonight is Bev Mendel, the WRJ Pacific District Area Director. And it's our pleasure to have you tonight. offer the microphone to you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are, as Rabbi said, Dan Nichols, Peterson. We're from the Women of Reformed Judaism Pacific District. And we live in San Jose, we're not too far. And yes, I'm Roberta's daughter. Mom.
We love Roberta.
And this temple is very near and dear to me as well, because I grew up here. And I'm so happy to see so many different people here. Lots of people. And as Rabbi Feeder said, thank you. We're not so used to microphones. I am the Northern California Area Director, Vice President, and Bev is your area director here for Shalom Women and works with your leadership council. And we bring you greetings on behalf of Sarah Charney, the president of WRJ North America, and Carol Schuster, the president of WRJ Pacific District as well. We are so happy to have been able to be here with you on this very special Shabbat. And it was wonderful. I remember Dan from many years ago at Camp Newman when my kids were campers there. And if you've been doing that for 23 years, I didn't realize you'd only had probably been doing it about 3 years. It was way back when. So it's been lovely. Congratulations. And good luck on your bat mitzvah tomorrow morning. And we look forward to meeting many of you at the Oneg tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Well, like the subject of Dan's sermon, next comes Aleinu, and it really is on us to live our praises for God. So we're on page 282, bottom half of the page, continuing on page 287, and I'd like to invite the woman who provides music for our youth education program, Ruby Miller, and those that she has with her to come on up and open the ark for Aleinu. Please rise if able. To repeat, we invite Ruby Miller and those that she has brought with her to open the ark. All right? We'll open the ark ourselves.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We can all be seated. Page 294. First, we think of those we're saying Kaddish for whom the mourners are in the midst of Shiva and Shloshim. We're saying Kaddish tonight for Peter Williams Jr., Sandy Levine, Flora Ushinsky, Mark Tandowski, Jerry Harris, and Linda Attell. And for Yahrzeits this week, we remember Adele Allen, Joseph Armato, Hartland Beck, Ida Berkowitz, Myrna Cohen, Barbara Dashevsky, Ruth Goldman, Reuben Green, Andrew Greenwood, Manya Hampel, Sybil Horowitz, Linda Barry Hurst, Sarah Joseph, Barney Kiseloff, Marion Landman, Julius Ludovich, Miriam Messenger, Henry Michelson, Harry Maraki, Frida Pearl, Sam Fillon, Rhonda Plisco, Dorothy Sachs, David Schaefer, Susan Wayne, Herman Werdesheim, Leo Weston, Ella Wexler, and Jean Wollenberg. If you would like to add a name to our Kaddish list that you have not heard said yet, please feel free to do so. And if you'd like to say a word or two about that person, whether you've heard their name or not, I would invite you.
My cousin Marty Schusterman died last week.
My cousin Bruce Miller died about 3 weeks ago, very suddenly.
My cousin Johnny Hayes, who also passed away a few weeks ago.
Holding all of them in our hearts, I'd like to invite the mourners first to rise so that we might recognize them as mourners and share words of comfort to them afterwards. And then I'd like to invite all who are able to please rise. Once again, we're on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, shemei tukudusha, b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma, v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'miru, Amen.
Amen.
May the source of peace send peace to those who mourn and comfort to those who are bereaved. Amen.
Oseh shalom, 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 bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imeru Amen.
Cantor, Dan, you want them up? You want them down for Oseh Shalom?
Oh, we want them up.
All right.
We want them up.
So we're going to close with the singing of Oseh Shalom, and then we're going to sing Hamotzi. And we'll gather for our Oneg Shabbat in the foyer out there. Once again, Dan, just a total treat to be with you this Shabbat. Thank you so much to the Fisher family for bringing Dan in celebration of Peyton becoming a bat mitzvah. Thank you all for being here. And for those who'd like to study some Torah tomorrow morning, Torah study, Parashat Va'et Hanan, is on Zoom tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock before our morning service. Oseh Shalom.
And a great big thank you to Charles as well for adding such beauty as
thank you.
always. I would recommend for Oseh Shalom that we put our prayer books down so that we can free our arms up to perhaps get a little Shabbat sway going with the person that's next to you. Here we go. Oseh Shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom
Yaseh shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom bimroma. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'amo Yisrael. 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 Just our voices now. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. Ve'amo Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu. And how beautiful that Vados Shalom connects both Dan Nichols and Michael Hunter Oakes, right?
It's the Nashville connection.
It's the Nashville connection. And let the record reflect, when you see Ruby Miller, who does music at Youth Ed in September, don't ask her, why didn't you come up? It turns out she's not here, her doppelganger is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were just doing a nice thing.
I was. And Rube was probably observing Shabbat somewhere else. And she's probably opening the Ark. So,
all right, let's get a big Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
For you in the foyer.